Friends, thank you for watching my channel. I just want to remind you, if you need wallpaper, go to www.wallpaperboulevard.com. Tell them Spencer sent you. In fact, if you use my hashtag, Spencer Colgan is wallpaper, they'll be sure to give you 10% off at your checkout. No matter how much you order, they have a wide selection of wallpaper. Check it out. Tell them I said hello. So we sealed our skim coat with Kills Clear. And now we're ready to apply our Venetian plaster. You have to stir it good. Stir it for a good minute. Can you bring them in close? With this motion, this double motion, I'm creating a greater amount of friction on it. I'm challenging the Venetian plaster to shine more by going this way and then this way. It doesn't give it a chance to cool, so to speak. Takes a lot of energy, so make sure that you've eaten sufficiently in order to do this type of labor. It's a lot of work, and you have to do it within 10 minutes or so, 5 to 10, after the third coat goes on. So you gotta move quickly, okay? Because there's a window to make this shine, and once you pass it, you can't do it. Can you zoom in on this beautiful profile that's coming about? Look at that. Look at that beauty. I just love it. Okay, I'll see you on the next frame. Okay, going for a different look on the ceiling, folks. As you can see. Oh. Oh, jeez. Okay. Need a little of this Venetian plaster. She needs to replace these lights. They've all gone on me. Okay. Oh. A little embarrassing. Okay, moving quickly. Okay, you can come now behind me and show them the last of this wall that we've been doing on this segment of the video. Remember I said pushing on it puts a lot more pressure on it. Nice short strokes. Now, keep in mind what you're looking at is not the finished product. This is wet. This will take 12 hours to dry, to really dry. You're looking at saturation. The nuances will become more subtle after about 3 hours, and then after 6, the color starts fading, and then you just get slight variations. Very beautiful finish. And if you take your time and watch this whole video, you can make a marble-like finish on your walls too. Nice and easy. We're videotaping. Okay. That will conclude this part of the video. We will resume tomorrow, finish up the job, and continue on the other side of this wall. This is my Venetian plaster finish. This is saturation marks. It will dry to a light color like this. But for now, I burnished it. It's nice and shiny. Look at that shine. And when this dries, you'll see those subtle color differentials like you do here. Now we're still on our third coat on this wall. You see our outside corners? They give you a pain, but I'm going to show you an easy way to do it. This stuff is like soft plaster and hard paint. It's it's not as hard as diamond plaster or a very hard surface when it's setting up. And it's a little harder than joint compound. And so when you come to the corners, your trowel puts it on and chips it off at the same time, unless you do it the right way. I'm going to show you. I'll take them in and show them this corner that kept happening while we were in the process of number 1 and 2. Now we're at number 3. We have to seal this corner. All right, it's an obtuse angle, but even if it were a right angle, this is what I would suggest that you do in order to get your corners covered. I was going to do this and let it dry and then sand it with 1000 grit sandpaper. But you know what? That's time consuming. So I'm going to take my Venetian plaster, bring it up onto the corner, come in close so that they can see I'm coating that corner real nice. Now, this is not a stucco finish or a fresco. This is a flat finish. So now you can see that the Venetian plaster has coated both sides, right? And so you can see the corner keeps favoring one side, then the next as I stroke the trowel. But now that I have the corner fully covered, it's time to now set the corner. And this is how I'm going to do it. Take my trowel, make sure the edge doesn't have any gunk on it. Okay? And I'm coming in, look at how I'm coming onto the corner. Okay? I get that corner and I pull the material away from the corner, but now the pressure is everything. And the angle at which you use this blade on the corner is everything. Not a lot of pressure, and the angle is about 10 degrees. Watch. Can you come in over here and show them the angle? Okay, it's about 15, 20 degrees tops, look. Just see how close I have it to the wall? It's the least offensive. It scratches at the least. Okay, I'll show you again. Ideal. Okay. So I'm smearing it onto the corner and pulling it away at the same time. And now you can see it's not scratching it. And it's not dragging it off because of the angle. Okay? Notice I'm starting on the drier part first. It's drier. And then I hit the corner, and then at the same time, I pull it in. And I'm doing both sides at the same time, right? I go from one to the other until all the material on the corner disappears. And that's where I'm almost at now. I'm no longer scraping that corner. You see, if I'm too rough with my blade on the corner, I'm going to scrape it off. Okay, now you can see that my corner is coated. And now all I gotta do is wait 15 minutes. I'm gonna give the corners a little more time. You know why? It's a little thicker in the corner. So we give it 5 to 10 to burnish it, but the corner, I'm gonna give it 15 minutes because the material's a little thicker. And if I go too hard with my burnisher, I'm gonna pull the material off. I'll see you on the next frame. Okay, you remember this part of the job where the substrate was not stable. So off camera, since we last dealt with this, I put a second layer of 5-minute mud. That's the only difference when we left off. Okay? So you'll remember that the substrate, which means the very bottom layer was unstable. It was spider cracking on me, don't know why. And we fixed it with putting fiberglass mesh tape on the surface. But that wasn't it, was it? We made it stable by using sheetrock nails, and that's what they were. They were 1 1/4 inch sheetrock nails to make this substrate stable. And look at the beautiful, look at this. No sanding, just pure 5-minute mud. And now we're going right over it with our Venetian plaster. And I'm putting it on a little thicker than normally because we need a nice thick coat on it. Just show them the action here. What I'm doing is floating it. What you can't see through the camera is the feeling I'm getting while I pull my trowel here over the surface. And so the surface is telling me, put a little more here, put a little less there. And that's what I'm doing when I keep going over it. Now, we happen to be on a flat surface, so we can expect a little self-leveling action to go on, okay? It's not a vertical wall where we would have to do a little more work. So we can expect our Venetian plaster to self-level to a degree. And that's that. And I'm going to give this 2 hours to dry before I touch it again. The main thing is the corner here. You want to firm up that corner before you put this to bed, so to speak. And that's what I'm doing by going over it here. Okay. I think I'll leave it at that. And now let it set up. Not yet. Now we're good. We'll let that set up. And I'm just going to continue burnishing this surface here because this is ready. Our corner is ready. Look at that beautiful corner. Look at that. I love this stuff. What I'm going to do is do this in my own home because I really love the way this is coming out. I'll see you on the next frame. All right, so now we're just giving it our design. Let the cameraman, we have a young boy helping out on the camera today. You'll see, just come over here and show them. I just take a damp rag, right? Here's a little trick while you're doing your Venetian plaster. I got a damp, clean rag. And if I see a little crumb on the surface, guess what? I'm getting rid of it. I'm going to make that surface a little damp. This way, my knife won't be scratching the surface. Okay? Because we don't need scratches. And so a damp rag will act as a sanding agent. Look at how beautiful it comes out. Now look, I can take my red, right? I can wet it. Why wet it? Maybe I want a little color there. I want to make the plaster a little darker there. You can do that too. Okay? Now here's the thing. My very first Venetian plaster job, I used car wax on it. Carbona car wax. It made the whole Venetian plaster darker. But I told the owner, this is going to make it darker. He goes, that's okay. It was a great, it's on, if you YouTube Spencer Colgan fine finish on a ceiling, you'll see my Venetian plaster job that I did on a ceiling. And I buffed it with a car wax buffer. Let me tell you something. Came out gorgeous. This is where you can really get creative, okay? Take a look at this. Look at this beauty. Look at the aggregate. Come in close. Look at these little spots coming out. I mean, some people love this. I guess other people don't. But it's really a unique effect. You just stay there with your camera. Just keep it on the wall, all right? And you'll just keep the camera on my hand, moving about, burnishing this, okay? Just keep your camera on my hand. Now, as I go into the inside corners, I'm doing a little work. I want to get the crumbs out. Corners are crummy, literally. And you don't want to have scratches in your corners. So, bring your spatula real close to the wall so that you're not gouging it, and go to work. Go to work. You see that? At the same time, you'll be cleaning up the corner, which is to say that you will remove any little crumbs that are there. And then down. Quick! Down! Make that friction shine your Venetian plaster. See that? I'm getting a lot of shine out of dragging it down. Okay, be careful when you go up, because you can scratch it. And you don't want to do that. Look at how beautiful. As I'm standing close to my Venetian plaster, I can see the shine coming out. I can see the shine that I'm creating by doing this. Now, this is hard on the hand, on the shoulder, I should say, but you have to do it on a day when you got all your strength so that you can get the most out of the burnishing effect. Okay, look at that beauty. Look at that. Beautiful. Now, here's a little tip for you. Let's say you want a little more pizzazz in your surface. What do I mean? You want a little more color. Use a carbon steel. This is stainless steel. Okay? Go with a carbon steel. And the color that comes off of your blade will go right into your plaster. You may not like the look, but I do. Okay? Let me show you what I mean. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Gotta be real careful near ceilings. Always have your rag with you. Don't worry about dampening the plaster. Wasn't it wet when it went on? Don't worry about a little moisture. It adds to the character of your Venetian plaster finish. Okay? Okay. So, let me show you what I'm talking about with carbon steel versus stainless steel. Okay? So we're using stainless steel, right? Okay, stay right there with your camera. Keep the camera on that. Now, let's go to a carbon steel applicator. Here's our carbon steel. Take a 600 sanding disc. Go all around your edges, okay? Once you're sure that you don't have any scratches in your edges, you take your carbon steel. And you just burnish it like that. Now, I'm going to continue with stainless steel because that's what I started with, so that I can have a universal surface of stainless steel. But if you wanted to add a little more character to it, I suggest carbon. Just a suggestion. Okay. I don't like the scratch in the surface, so I'm going to go right to it. Just stay right there. Keep your camera on there. And I'm going to show them a little repair as we go along. Okay. Not a big deal. Come back right to it. I don't know if they can see in that camera, but I have a scratch. I don't like it. I go right in there, put new plaster in, no big deal. Go right in there. Now, here's the deal. Scratch is gone, right? But what's going to happen when you continue burnishing the rest of the job? You're going to forget about this. So here's what you got to do. Keep your camera on the action. Just keep your camera there, and we're going to take a piece of tape and we're going to put it right over it. Because in 10 minutes this will be ready, and you can't forget. This is dull. It's very easy to forget it. And you'll walk away and you'll have a dull spot. And it will not burnish as well later on as it will 10 minutes after it's applied. Okay, so you want to be careful that if you do a repair, great, good for you. Make sure you identify the repair with some tape, okay? Or at least make a mental note that you're not going to forget. Now I will continue. What a beautiful appearance. You can go back and forth, sideways, diagonal, as you burnish. What you're just looking to do is to bring out the profile of the aggregates that are now dry. You see, the reason why you put multiple layers is that the multiple layers are going to, when you burnish, the first layer is going to come out, then the second layer. All of those nuances in each of the layers will come out and manifest itself in the design that you're looking at. If you just put one layer, will it burnish? Sure it will, but it's going to be flat. This will literally give you a three-dimensional profile the more layers that you put on. You may want to put 4 layers on. Or you may not like the profile that's coming out. So you change to a smaller applicator and then put a new layer on and simply burnish it. The way you put it on with your applicator is the way it's going to come out when the aggregate begins to show after you burnish it. So, if you don't like these movements that are manifesting from my applicator, you can simply change it to a smaller one where you go up, come down, go up. You can do circular motions. You'll get it to the way you want it. But after you put 3 layers, the beauty of it is this. The next layer is your last. After 3 layers, you put on the next layer, you put it the way you want it, and if you like it, that's it, you're done. Or you say, no, I don't like it, I'm going to do another layer. Again, you got to wait till it dries, put on another layer. If you like that, you're done. Okay? And that's how you do it. So, I'll see you folks on the next frame. Venetian plaster. Anybody can do it. If you can take a trowel and do that, you can do Venetian plaster. We're done. We've burnished the entire surface, and it's giving that beautiful Mediterranean Venetian plaster shine. Let's take them up close and show them. Yesterday I told you that there were dark marks, and so now you can see that they've dried. So we don't want to create shadows. Let me show them top to bottom. Look at the profile that came out during the burnishing process. Now at the end of the job, you might see a little problem here or there. And so the last tools that will touch the surface are 1000 sanding paper and your burnishing tool. So if you had an issue, like in a corner, you could go over there. This is very gentle. And then you just fix it like that. Okay? Let's back up so you can get the full effect. This was the mural that we did in the beginning of the job. Again, adding to the Mediterranean theme of this dining room. We did on the sides of these pillars, but we didn't do the pillars. That's a faux painting. And there you have it. Any questions about Venetian plaster? Please let me know in the comments section. Anything about the tools that you might use during this process as well. Thank you for watching my channel.